Alright, hello and welcome to week number 28 of my free-to-play account updates. It's been a big week for the account, so yeah, excited to get straight into the updates. So this week, if that does load, we'll skip past the era stuff for now. This week, as I mentioned last week, it's been all about finishing Jabba requirements. So this is pretty much where I was at the end of last week. Still going to return to Treya squad, but we'll put that to one side at the moment. So this is where I was, and we had 2 R6s and also a ship to complete, which this morning I got to 100 shards, so just in the nick of time. This was the real bottleneck for Jabba. Well, actually it all kind of worked out that everything came together around the same time, which was nice, but this is the thing that does take a while and is why it's kind of difficult to go for Jabba straight away, and why one of the few reasons why Leia is the best first GL. The Outrider just adds a bit of a complication to getting Jabba really quickly if you are free to play, but there we go. We have 7-star Outrider, and that leaves us with the 2 remaining requirements, which is Aura and Greedo. So I spent most of the week, I think about 4 or 5 days, using Cantina energy on Aura shards. I'd already used my Kyber Lightspeed tokens on other farms, the ones I got from last era. I can't even remember. Other Cantina characters, I think maybe Yoda and Dash maybe were the ones I used, so had to just farm Aura the old-fashioned way, but she is now 6 stars, which means we can take her to Relic 6, and I have just about enough stuff. I've really just scraped over the finish line with this farm here, but there we go. We've got a Relic 6 Aura, which leaves just Greedo. There we go. We get a quest complete, and just Greedo to go at Relic 6, so let's go do that. And we should be there, so you probably spot that I don't have much left over to apply to Jabba himself. That will take not too long to get the Relic stuff for Jabba, but yeah, it will take me a few more days, but I just want to get him unlocked and start the Galactic Legend token ticket grind as soon as possible, of course. So let's head on over to the journey guide, and hopefully all of the boxes have been ticked. He's looking gold. There we go. So yeah, that's us met the requirements. I don't tend to do the unlock videos on these guides just because it's not something I think is particularly interesting, but I always try to leave a link to someone else's guide for anyone needing help with this. So what I'll do now is I will go ahead and try and actually get Jabba unlocked. So I've pre-prepared 100 of the Galactic Legend tickets just with the what's it called, the shard shop currency, and I've got a nice stack of it, so I might buy a couple more just to get Jabba unlocked and get some gear on him. Then over the next day some more relics, so I can have him to an extent before next GAC. I think overall it's maybe more efficient to not use this, but I've got a good supply and I want him now, so I'm going to be impatient and just go and grab him. So yeah, I will be back shortly. Alright, and we cut to the end of this battle here, which should hopefully give me enough shards to unlock Jabba. Not the ult, that will come in the next few weeks, I think. But yeah, there we go, 330 shards, which should give us a Jabba. I, as always, really underestimated the amount of tickets, so I had to spend a few refreshes of the shard shop currency and some normal energy refreshes as well, so I'm quite low on crystals at the moment. But yeah, managed to get Jabba nonetheless for the video, which is great. So there we go. Let's get the slug on the account. There we go. Lovely. So that is GL number 2, which feels quite crazy to say, not quite 7 months in, but we've got Leia, we've got Jabba, and I guess we're looking forward to Jedi Master Luke in the future. Let's stick on some upgrades. So we'll start with level 85. We've got a lot of abilities to apply. Let's see how much we could do in terms of gear. I think I can go to like relic 1 or something. I'll maybe see if before the next GAC lock I can get to relic 5. I think might be achievable. After that, I'm not too sure. Won't have the ultimate anyway. It will just be nice. Even without the ultimate, will still be one of my better teams, I'm sure, when it comes to GAC, especially in 5v5. Get to gear 12 and gear 13. Fantastic. And any further than that, we can go to relic 1. I guess I can use the new system to find out what would relic 3 require. Yeah, I could do that actually. Here, yeah, so I think let's go to relic 3. I'm just gonna do some scrapping. And yeah, just been to the scavenger and I've got enough carbonite circuit boards and bronzium and just about enough signal data to go to relic 3. And yeah, can't go any further really today. We're really just stumbling over the line on this one. Relic 5, yeah, I think definitely relic 7 might be a push before GAC lock, to be honest, but let's go and apply all of these. Let's get our Zetas. Yes, I do have more than enough, and we'll have 4 Zetas left over. So Zetas so far have not been an issue. I think they will start to become more of a bottleneck as we start to get into, let's say, more compact, did not mean to do that, as we get into more compact farms like Bo-Katan and Balin, farms that only require like a few requirements, and also you want to put Zetas onto their team and to them as well. So I think that's I guess the good thing about going for quite big targets early on, Leia, Executor, Jabba, is that there's not really a strain on Zetas just because you're spending so much time farming signal data, other stuff, but I think that will start to come into play. There's not too much I could do to improve Zeta income apart from spending fleet currency on Zetas, which I will start to do more now that I'm starting to finish ships, of course. So there we go. We have Jabba. I will not mod him yet just because he's not really ready to go anyway, but yeah, there we go. Where is he? Yep, up here with Leia. GL number 2 on the account. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, that of course is the big news this week, and I can bin all of this stuff and move it to past farms, and we can start to see what I need to work on now. I like to tidy this all up, which is good. Okay, Jabba, we'll leave Jabba there. Still got a little bit of work to do on him in terms of relics and modding, of course. So let's bump him to the top because that's what I am working on at the moment. So up next, we have a bunch of smaller projects. Trey, I've sort of already mentioned, but I'm just waiting until a point where I start to have more of the Mark 1 currency. I don't know why that's not showing for her. Let's go find it in the shop. The Mark 1 currency costing 700, of course. It's been very slow today. Where is she? There. So this, let's actually no, I want to save that for like bronzium and carbonite circuit boards, I think, probably for Jabba, so best not spend that at the moment. That's why, yeah, bit of delay in finishing that, but I think working on these guys, I don't really have many characters to gear, which you need Mark 1 currency for. It'll mostly just be Bo-Katan, to be honest, and then not until Balin. Everything else will either be done or will be lightspeed tokens, so that should start to free up currency, and then I can finish Darth Trey. And I think for now, because I'm cooling off Starkiller for the moment, I'm going to we're just sticking like Darth Vader or whoever Sith that we have. Not ideal, but I think we'll do the job when it comes to 5v5. So yeah, up next I'm just in the process of finishing Captain Enoch. These are all of the shards or characters I'm farming shards for at the moment. Still have quite a big backlog of normal energy farms, as you can see here, but we're nearing the end of quite a few. So Captain Enoch should be done within a week. Then we're sort of cheaper farms like Skiffguard and also Radis as well, as only 60 energy, which is pretty good. And after that, we'll start to work in Shin and Marok as I eventually pick up lightspeed tokens for them and continue to farm. So yeah, a bit of a backlog, and that's because I'm trying not to refresh normal energy a lot, and I'm just relying on web store energy and the energy that just builds up naturally in game, and just doing that is enough to kind of keep pace with these farms. So yeah, Enoch should be ready within a week if I farm him every day, and he is 100 energy, so quite an expensive one, so that'll be nice. The one that will stay for a while is Ray's ship. I'm currently not even at 4 stars for that, but I'm just trying to hit that every day, and yeah, with the view to eventually going for Pirate King Hondo. So if we go back to the plans, yeah, once I finish Jabba, and I guess let's maybe, just so I don't forget, this is something I always point out in roster reviews, so I'm not gonna fall into that trap myself. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and also bring up, I think these two, I think we'll go to Relic 7, just because this will be quite a pivotal team for me in GAC and Relic Delta, and just anyway, you want them to be tanky, you want Bush to do quite a bit of damage, and Relic 7 can help with that. She's nearly at 7 stars, so yeah, I'm going to, and also her Zeta, definitely not the Raid Omicron. This is definitely something that we want to apply, the Zeta, which calls her to assist. So yep, Chrysanthemum already has a Zeta because I used that Bounty Hunter lightspeed token from the anniversary quests. I might stick an Omicron on Chrysanthemum again, just sort of doubling down on this team. So yeah, little bit of work that needs done to sort of round out the team really. Yeah, so focus on those 3, and then you've got Skiffguard. I'll put a little bit of work into, might not relic up a lot. Then these guys, Bo-Katan, so I'm taking a sort of slight break working on Assault Battle and a current team while I start to stockpile stuff for Profundity, which would be a case of trying to scrounge around for some Relic 9 materials, either by like converting gear in the scavenger or potentially using error currency for some, and of course using raid currency, which we're getting out. I mean, the guild's very consistent about doing the raid, and I guess now is a good time to shout out the guild, Return of the People. I always leave the link to their Discord in my video description. If you are free to play, even if you're a completely brand new free to play just starting an account, yeah, go to that Discord, check it out and see if you want to join one of the guilds. Usually there's a spot in one of them. My guild is Return of the People, but there's a couple of other great guilds in the alliance, so yeah, shout out to them. And yeah, because of them being able to get a decent income of Mark III, we are doing about 30 million in the raid, which I think is about 1,000 or 1,500, something like that, every week, which keeps things ticking along. But I think if we want to go for an R9 and an R8, which will be needed for Cassian, I'll probably need to scrap for these. So I think like right now, let's just pick them up, I guess. We can make a little bit more progress towards that R8 for Cassian, but then we'll need double that, and also the 20 Gerdas and 20 Droid Brains for Radis, which I think will require me scrapping some stuff or picking them up with error currency. I think I will have the space to use the scavenger for Gerdas, because if we go here, Gerdas, it's been a while since I've done this actually. Yeah, like this material here, you can scrap it. I think, as I mentioned when talking about like getting characters to relics, I don't have that many that I'll need to do. Like Bo-Katan, then Balin, in the near future, and that's really it, which means I can use that Mark II raid currency, which we get a lot more of, and sort of buy the gear with a view to scrapping it into Gerda keypads. So I think that will solve that problem. Droid Brains, Kyrotech, I already on quite low supply, so maybe Droid Brains or something I think about picking up from the Era store, or just deliberately farm extra Kyrotech and scrap them. So that's why Profundity will take a while longer, and also it's an issue with when it's released because it comes around on the last day of the month usually, so about 2 weeks until it comes back the next time. There's no way I can make it for then, but I think we can maybe aim for the time afterwards. So in 6 weeks time, end of September, I think that might be my target date for Profundity, and we'll get into some upgrades because by then the Albiat relics will just be trying to sort out those R8s and R9s, and then like Balin, and I won't go through this in much more detail because I did last time, but then we're then going to try and get JML because of Jedi Training Leia, and I'll discuss Jedi Training Leia in a second because that relates to Conquest, but I need to do this sort of Russian nesting doll farm of getting BB-8, getting Jedi Training Rey, and then getting JML. And I have been sort of doing the low-hanging fruit by like picking up General Hux from like Guild Store, so I've got a lot of that currency free at the moment. Same for Phasma as well, so those two will be easy. The other ones are quite easy as well, so, and maybe a Lightspeed token on one of them if I need to. So yeah, just working away on this in the background, but really that's not going to be relevant for quite a few months yet, and then yeah, into gas and stuff like that. So that's the plan going forward. Let's briefly touch on Lightspeed tokens. So where are they? Here we go. So I have my rough order. This doesn't really show what the order is. I think Bistan, Marok, Shin, then Mon Mothma, or Shin Marok. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I think that's the order I want to go in. Bist first, just because I don't really have the normal energy to farm Shin and Marok right now anyway, so may as well wait a little bit, and I'll still be able to get them in plenty of time. Bistan, just because we're about to lock into another round of 5v5, and I've got actually Rogue One farm, or like the bare bones of a Rogue One farm, so I can throw him in as the 5th. So let's pick up an Attacker Lightspeed token, and of course he is Profundity requirement, so that works out pretty well. And I guess I can maybe think about using his U-Wing as well in some situations with the Home 1 fleet. So there we go, we have Bistan done. So we go back to the farming path where you can see for Profundity in terms of relics, it's really just Mon Mothma. She won't really do anything for me until Profundity, so I'm just going to wait on applying the Lightspeed token for her. And yeah, already it's looking pretty good. I think we're ahead of where we need to be when it comes to Lightspeed tokens. I think that's a good segue into Coliseum. So performance has picked up a little bit over the last week as we've started to essentially get Mara a little bit higher. I've sort of more often in the top 90, sometimes in the top 60, depending on how things go. I think it's still a relatively tough shard, but I think not too tough. So I'm able to get some more than 300 error currency scores. Sometimes like it's quite volatile at the moment because I think there's just lots of people with like high level Maras, and everyone's kind of like converging on the same levels. So I think it's just going to be quite up and down, but at least we can punch up and get a little bit of extra era level currency, which is nice. I've actually got a quick graph of that. So yeah, this is just my performance over like the first 3 weeks. Really, you can see I was like frustratingly just below the top 90 until I think this is when Yoda came out. So at that point we could progress beyond era level 55 with Mara, and I think that's helped. It's basically meant the loaned units matter less, which is good. Even though I do have extra loaned unit levels, I think there's just a lot of episode pass buyers in my shards. So the fact now that it mostly comes down to the level of your Mara, I think that has helped things, and still up and down as you can see, and I think it will continue to be that. But yeah, being able to get some nice scores. And of course my strategy is was to get Mara to 5 stars. I haven't invested in Yoda, and I'm not going to invest in getting all of the characters to 4 or 5 stars. So I'm now in a stage of building up crystals again for the next era, where I think I might go for 5 stars, which is important because you can see after doing some extra refreshes and like normal energy and refreshing the shard shop store just to get Jabba unlocked for this video, I'm down to the very bare bones of crystals. So I'm going to start to build those up over the next 2 months, to be honest, and hopefully by the start of the next era we'll have a nice buffer for whatever comes next. And another reason my crystals are quite low at the moment is because the Executor event came back yesterday and I was able to complete I guess we'll go to the journey guide actually. I was able to complete the actual journey guide, because if you remember before, I was able to do up to here, which was, I guess, good. I was able to make a bit of use of Executor in like Grand Arena and stuff like that, but I was finally able to meet all of these requirements just because of the slow ship farms, especially Razor Crest, and I was able to pick up the extra 40 shards and then also unlock the bonus event, which I refreshed twice in order to meet 5 stars, which is where I'm going to keep the Executor at for now, at least. I don't think I'll push to 5 stars. I don't think I'll push to 7 stars. I'll keep at 5 stars because I think I can still work on my Leviathan counter and other counters at 5 stars. It'll be less reliable, but I think I can still make things work. And I'm also going to go for profundity, so I can use profundity for other things. So let's promote Executor, and there we go. So that's Executor and Coliseum. I did mention I wanted to discuss Conquest because of Leia. So just this morning, and just another reason my crystals are lower, because I did a couple of Conquest energy refreshes just to, I guess in theory I could have waited for tomorrow, but I got impatient again, and I was just able to get to Gold Crate. I was actually a little bit worried because this morning I was at like 430 key cards, so I was like, that's a lot of key cards to try get in 2 days, because I was quite like slow and steady going through all of the sectors. But once you get to the end and you get a good data disk set up, especially if we head over here, do I have it equipped? I do not, but it is this disc here, the training droids disc. You can really go back and cheese so many of the battles. Yes, you have to spend a little bit extra because you're not winning the battles, so you're not getting any progress or any datacron stuff. But for a really small account like this, it's only just over 4 million. I think overall that's the better strategy, because if I try to pick up the feats just by going through the sectors, I just don't have a deep enough roster to do that reliably without dropping loads of battles as I try to do that. So I think overall that's the smarter play. And it also means what I like to do is I like to go for all of those like feats at once. So things like inflict buff disruption 30 times, which you can do in a couple battles with that training droid data disk equipped, and then also like all of the ones that are like get a certain number of buffs, get a certain number of debuffs, like gain overcharge, stun enemies 50 times. I like to go through, do them all at once with that data disk equipped, but also because you're not winning any of the battles, you could just keep reusing the same consumables. So I was able to get the deployable cooling systems consumable by winning 20 battles with what's her name, Vel. So having that equipped and a few of the other packs that I picked up just made those battles quite easy. So yeah, I was able to get those feats done and get up to Gold Crate. Red Crate I think is just out of reach if I had Bo-Katan potentially, but even then it's going to be a lot of effort. So I think I'm fine just staying with Gold Crate, and that does keep me just about on track to unlock Leia after 6 months, which is great. So I think that's most of everything. GAC has just started. I've lost the first match. I've gone on a really bad run of just facing opponents I can't beat. So I'm hoping that's going to turn around. Again, I know it's very hit and miss in Bronzium. I'm hoping with like Jabba and starting to add a few other teams, we can start to go on a bit of a run and push back to, or push up to Chromium rather. I haven't done today's match yet. I don't have time for this video, but I think it might be winnable. There's no GLs. This gas team might be slightly awkward, although I'm noticing I think 5s. Yeah, the few Relic 2s is kind of nice. R8 gas kind of scares me. I can maybe try use CLS for this. Got a low Relic Treya team. I'll need to see how I can handle that. So my tools will be things like CLS. I've got my own Treya team. I've got Great Mothers, and then that's really it. Top wall here. Nothing. This can sometimes go on a bit of a run if you're not careful, but this should be pretty easily handled. So we'll see how we get on. This one should be much more doable. But yeah, I think that brings me to the end of the updates. I'll head on over to the stats now, and yeah, let's do that. All right, we are here with the stats. So we are now at 6.5 months, getting on towards 7 months. GP 4.41 million, guild stayed about the same. Mod score, I finally made some upgrades and sliced some of my mods. Still a lot of work to do on that respect. I've finally got round to setting up some filters and stuff, so I'm hoping once I start farming mods a little bit more consistently to start building out a nice set. Now that we've got some of the big farming targets done, I think it's definitely time to focus back on mods a bit more. But I think overall, yeah, really happy with the progress so far, especially, yeah, getting 2 GLs at this point, under 7 months, Executor as well. So yeah, it's definitely... Oh, I've just realized that I haven't colored in Jabba. I think I'll leave him grayed out for now, just because these are really here to signify their events, and I'm not sure at the current level if I could do Smugglers Run 3. Maybe it's possible, but I'll wait to confirm that when it next rolls around, and hopefully even without the ultimate Relic 7 6 Zetas, I think that should be possible. So yeah, we'll save that for next time, and then also Prettier Patrol as well. But yeah, overall happy with the progress. GAC hasn't been going so well, but I'm hoping to, now that we're adding another GL, focus back on that and see if we can start pushing up to Chromium now. Fleet rank still getting around first. Coliseum has been a bit better recently, so I've moved the sort of typical rank up a little bit, and yeah, getting that era currency. And I think that's all we really need. Just, I don't know, a few weeks of slightly better performance should help us get the lightspeed tokens we need. I think already we're ahead of schedule when it comes to lightspeed tokens, so I'm not too worried about going too much further when it comes to Coliseum, and that's part of my reasoning behind not going for 5-star Darth Jar Jar this era and just focusing on things like signal data and then mods as well, just because those are where the real bottlenecks are at the moment. Then yeah, Assault Battle, as I mentioned, we should be able to do a few more. Rebel Roundup should be able to get CT3 now that we have Jabba. And I might start seeing if I can make some more improvements. Ground War with Jedi Knight Luke, I should be able to get CT3 and maybe CT2, Secrets and Shadows, but I would need to set up for that. And Sith, I should have some Sith as well. So yeah, going to start to focus on these guys a little bit more, but overall, yeah, happy with the stats. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.